Good day. My name is Claire. My report is about General Register Number or GR number 189456. What is GR number 189456?
Chiang Kai-shek College and Carmelita Espino, petitioners, versus Rosalinda M. Torres, respondent. Petitioner, Chiang Kai-shek College is a private educational institution that offers elementary to college education to the public. Individual petitioner, Carmelita Espino, is the vice president of the school. Respondent has been employed as a grade school teacher of the school from July 1970 until May 31, 2003. The manner of her severance from employment is the matter at hand.
Respondent was accused of leaking a copy of special quiz given to grade 5 students of Hekasi 5. Petitioners came to know about the leakage of one of the teachers of Hekasi 5, Eileen Benabese or Miss Benabese. Miss Benabese narrated that after giving a special quiz, she borrowed the book of one of her students, Eileen Regine M. Anduyan or Eileen, for the purpose of making an answer key. When she opened Eileen's book, a piece of paper fell. Said paper turned out to be a copy of a same quiz she had just given, and the same already contained answers. Miss Binabese informed the school assistant supervisor, Mrs. Gloria Canida, or Mrs. Canida, about the incident. Mrs. Canida conferred with Assistant Supervisor Encarnacion Ku, or Mrs. Ku, who was in charge of the Hekasi area, and Supervisor Luningning TB, or Miss TB. Mrs. Ku confronted respondent who had initially denied leaking the test paper but later on admitted that she gave the test paper.
Teresita Anduyan or Mrs. Anduyan, her co-teacher and the mother of Eileen. Respondent and Mrs. Anduyan were both directed to submit their written statement on the incident. Respondent explained that she was busy checking a writing workbook when somebody handed her the special quiz for Hekasi 5. I placed them on the table and continued with what I'm doing. Mrs. Anduyan got one paper and read it. When I finished checking the books, I got the papers and went upstairs forgetting about the paper Mrs. Anduyan got. Then, this morning, Mrs. Ko confronted me about the two answered test paper of Eileen Anduyan. I knew one of them was the paper Mrs. Anduyan borrowed from me. I admitted it to Mrs. Ko, and I was so sorry and apologetic for any carelessness and for what happened. Mrs. Anduyan denied that she took the test paper from petitioner without the latter's permission. This event was not intentional. It just happened. I just asked Mrs. Torres to look for the special quiz in Hekasi, but she gave it to me and I let my daughter to see the test paper and she answered it. Mrs. Ko, Mrs. Caneda, and Miss TB executed a written statement stating that when confronted by Mrs. Ko, respondent initially denied leaking a copy of the quiz but later on admitted to doing the same. In 3 separate letters, Mrs. Ko, Mrs. Caneda, and Mrs. TB stated that respondent admitted to Mrs. Ko that she leaked the special quiz and directed respondent and Mrs. Anduyan to give their comment. Mrs. Anduyan denied that she asked for the special quiz from respondent and that the latter forgot about the paper that she allegedly took. Doon po sa salita ni Ginang Gloria Caneda na ayon kay Ginang Rosalinda Torres, I asked for the special quiz 1 in Hekasi 5. Ay wala pong katotohanan. Tulad din po ng sinabi ni Ginang Rosalinda Torres, she went upstairs forgetting about the paper that I got, ay hindi po rin totoo. Sa katunayan, ito po ang tunay na nangyari ng umaga sa faculty room. Totoo pong nag-check ng writing book si Ginang Torres nang hiniram ko yung special quiz 1 Hekasi 5. Ang sabi ko, Linda, patingin ng test ninyo. So binigay naman niya ito willingly. At hindi ko kinuha tulad ng kanyang salaysay. Sabi ko, pahiram at hindi ko kinuha ng walang pahintulot. Sa katunayan, inabot niya ito sa akin. Nagulat nga ako nang sabihin niya na sayo na lang. So kinuha ko po at umakyat na ako sa room ko. By chance, Mrs. Anduyan saw copies of the special quiz 1 on my desk. Mrs. Anduyan told me, patingin, babasa lang. Among faculty members, it is usual that teachers took into the type of questions to be given to pupils without necessarily divulging them. I did not expect that Mrs. Anduyan would be divulging test questions since she is a faculty member herself and is bound to such duty of confidentiality. Last July 29, 2002, I did not intend for Mrs. Anduyan to have a copy of Special Quiz 1. I am not even aware that Mrs. Anduyan took a copy of a Special Quiz 1. It did not occur to me that Mrs. Anduyan could have taken a copy of the test. Neither did I hand over a copy of the test questions with the answers already indicated therein. On August 30, 2002, the investigating committee held a meeting and found Respondent and Mrs. Anduyan guilty of committing a grave offense of the school policies by leaking a special quiz, as shown in the minutes of the meeting on August 30, 2002. The committee decided to impose the penalty of 1 month suspension without pay on Respondent and forfeiture of all the benefits scheduled to be given on Teachers' Day. According to petitioners, the investigating committee had actually decided to terminate Respondent and had in fact prepared a memorandum of termination, but Respondent allegedly pleaded for a change of punishment in a short letter dated on September 5, 2002. I am requesting for change of punishment for termination to suspension, and I am resigning at the end of the school year. Petitioners assented to the request and suspended Respondent and Mrs. Anduyan effective 16th of September to October 2002. The duo was directed to report to work on November 4, 2002. Respondent continued her employment from November 4, 2002 until the end of the school year of March 26, 2003. On February 14, 2003, however, the Respondent Council sent a letter to petitioners containing the following demand. Last, exemplary damages in the amount of at least 250,000 pesos. Petitioners through counsel wrote to Respondent's counsel asserting that Respondent was being terminated, but the latter requested that she be suspended instead on condition that she will tender her voluntary resignation at the end of the school year. On June 10, 2003, Respondent filed a complaint for constructive dismissal and illegal suspension with the labor arbiter. She also sought payment of unpaid salary, back wages, holiday pay, service incentive, leave pay, 13th month pay, separation pay, retirement benefits, damages, and attorney's fees. In her position paper, Respondent alleged that she was forced and pressured to submit the written request for a change of penalty and commitment to resign at the end of the school year. She was threatened by the school management with immediate dismissal from service if she did not submit the written statement. She claimed that she was not formally charged with any offense and she was not served a copy of the notice of the school's decision to terminate her services. Petitioners insisted that Respondent voluntarily resigned. Petitioners averred that Respondent was accorded a right to due process prior to her termination. A formal investigation was conducted during which Respondent was given the opportunity to defend herself and confront her accusers. On February 3, 2004, Labor Arbiter Eduardo J. Carpio dismissed Respondent's complaint for lack of merit. The Labor Arbiter deemed Respondent's suspension coupled with petitioner's allowance of Respondent's resignation at the end of the school year as generous acts considering the offense committed. The Labor Arbiter held that there was no constructive dismissal because Respondent was nor coerced nor pressured to write her resignation letter. On appeal, the Second Division of NLRC rendered a division affirming the labor arbiter's findings but ordering petitioners to pay Respondent separation pay equivalent to 1/2 month salary of every year of services on the grounds of equity and social justice. Respondent elevated the case to the Court of Appeals. On May 29, 2009, the Court of Appeals reversed the NLRC decision and resolution. Wherefore, premises considered, the instant petition is granted. The assailed decision dated July 26, 2007 of the NLRC and resolution dated July 1, 2008 in NLRC are hereby reversed and set aside, and the new one rendered as follows. Declaring petitioner Rosalinda M. Torres to have been constructively dismissed. Ordering private respondents to pay petitioner her separation pay equivalent to 1 month salary for every year of service with a fraction of at least 6 months being considered as 1 whole year. Full back wages and other privileges and benefits or their monetary equivalent computed from the time of her dismissal on June 1, 2003 until her retirement or the finality of this decision, whichever comes first. Retirement benefits pursuant to the school retirement plan. Moral and exemplary damages in the amount of 10,000 each. 10% of the total awards as attorney's fees. The case is hereby ordered remanded to the labor arbiter for computation of the foregoing monetary awards due the petitioner. The Court of Appeals ruled that petitioner did not voluntarily resign but was constructively dismissed. The appellate court cited respondent's years in service, her consistent denials of the accusations against her, her alleged resignation letter, which did not contain any reason for her resignation, and the unsigned memorandum of termination, which militate against the voluntariness of resignation. The appellate court also foreclosed any interpretation that respondent was validly dismissed for a just cause, because respondent was already met the penalty of suspension without pay and the forfeiture of her bonuses. The appellate court found it unjust to penalize respondent twice for the same offense. Petitioners moved for reconsideration, but it was denied in a resolution issued on September 2, 2009. We are called upon to determine whether or not, in this case, the school's act of imposing the penalty of suspension instead of immediate dismissal from service at the behest of the hearing employee in exchange for the employee's resignation at the end of the school year constitutes constructive dismissal. Petitioners point out that in respondent's handwritten letter dated on September 5, 2002, she offered to voluntarily resign at the end of the school year, provided that her punishment be changed from termination to suspension. Petitioners claim that respondent who was faced with immediate termination of her employment bargained for a better exit. Petitioners deny forcing, coercing, or pressuring respondent into writing said letter. Respondent, on the other hand, avert that individual petitioner forced her to write the written request for a change of the action on the charges against her, from dismissal to suspension and eventual resignation. Respondent reiterates that she never intended to resign but due to intense pressure from individual petitioner who threatened that she will not receive her monetary benefits. She was pressured to write the alleged resignation letter. Respondent had admitted to leaking a copy of the HECASI 5 special quiz. She reluctantly made the admission and apologized to Mrs. Go when the latter confronted her. She admitted during August 28 hearing executing contradictory statements. On August 30, 2002, the investigating committee found respondent guilty of leaking a copy of the special quiz. Based on this infraction alone, Chiang Kai-shek College would have been justified to validly terminate respondent from service. As Associate Justice Antonio T. Carpio emphasized, academic dishonesty is the worst offense a teacher can make because teachers caught committing academic dishonesty lost their credibility as educators and ceased to be role models for their students. More so that under Chiang Kai-shek College Faculty Manual, leaking and selling of test questions is classified as a grave offense, punishable by dismissal and termination. On September 5, 2002, respondent was verbally informed by Mrs. Cadena, Mrs. Carmelita Espino, and Ms. TB that she was being dismissed from service. Before the investigating committee could formalize respondent's dismissal, respondent hand-wrote a letter requesting that the penalty be lowered from dismissal to suspension in exchange for respondent's resignation at the end of the school year. Given the indication of voluntary resignation, we rule that there is no constructive dismissal in this case. There is a constructive dismissal when there is cessation of work because continued employment is rendered impossible, unreasonable or unlikely as an offer involving a demotion in rank or diminution in pay and other benefits. Aptly called a dismissal in disguise or an act of amounting to dismissal by made to appear as if it is were not. Constructive dismissal may likewise exist if an act of clear discrimination, insensibility, or disdain by an employer becomes so unbearable on the part of the employee that it could foreclose any choice by him except to forego his continued employment. There was here no discrimination committed by petitioners. While respondent did not tender her resignation wholeheartedly, circumstances of her own making did not give her any other option. With due process, she was found to have committed the grave offense of leaking test questions. Dismissal from employment was the justified equivalent penalty. Having realized that, she asked for, and was granted, not just a deferred imposition of but also an acceptable cover for defense. Respondent's profession, the gravity of her infraction, and the fact that she waited until the close of the school year to challenge her impending resignation demonstrate that respondent had bargained for a graceful exit and is now trying to renege on her obligation. Associate Justice Antonio T. Carpio accordingly noted that the petitioner should not be punished for being compassionate and granting respondents' request for a lower penalty. But differently, respondents should not be awarded for reneging on her promise to resign at the end of the school year. Otherwise, employer placed in similar situation would no longer extend compassion to employees. Compromise agreements like that in the instant case, which lean towards desired liberally the favor labor, would be discouraged.